The WWE landscape has just been rocked to its very core. In a moment that fans will never forget, Jimmy Uso turned his back on his family and aligned himself with Solo Sikoa. Jacob Fatu Uso stood frozen, betrayed, and blindsided by their own blood. What was once a unified dynasty has now fractured into open warfare. With Jimmy's shocking choice, a new era of chaos has begun. The betrayal, the violence, the power shift, the bloodline civil war is no longer a rumor. It's here, and nobody is safe. The betrayal that shook. WWE, Jimmy Uso's stunning defection. The arena was thick with tension as Jimmy Uso stood motionless in the ring, caught in the eye of a brewing storm. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso flanked him, their faces a mix of confusion, hurt, and disbelief. The legendary Bloodline faction, a symbol of Samoan pride and dominance in WWE, now teetered on the edge of collapse. Suddenly, with the silence suffocating, Jimmy's decision was made. Slowly, deliberately, he took a step away from Roman and Jey. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Jimmy's eyes locked with Solo Sikoa's cold, determined stare across the ring. The weight of years of loyalty shattered in an instant as Jimmy crossed to Solo's side. Before anyone could react, Jimmy turned sharply and delivered a brutal drop kick that sent Jey crashing into the ropes. The shock in Jey's eyes was mirrored by Roman's stunned expression. This was more than just a betrayal. It was war. The rise of the new bloodline, Solo, Jacob Fatu, and Jeff Cobb. The moment Jimmy pledged allegiance to Solo Sikoa's faction, Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb stormed the ring like unleashed beasts. Jacob, the fierce Samoan powerhouse, and Jeff Cobb, the monstrous 300-pound enforcer, descended on Roman Reigns with savage intensity. The ring became a battleground, echoing with the sounds of brutal strikes and shattering ringside equipment. Jimmy stood at ringside, a chilling smile spreading across his face as he watched Roman battered on the canvas. Solo Sikoa grabbed the microphone, his voice dripping with menace. The weak bloodline dies tonight. The new era begins. Together, the four men, Solo, Jimmy, Jacob, and Jeff, stood united in the center of the ring, triumphant and unrelenting, looming over Roman's motionless form. Meanwhile, Jey screamed in anguish and betrayal from the ramp, the fracture in the family now undeniable. The fallout, resentment, recruitment, and power plays. Jimmy Uso's betrayal wasn't a sudden act of rebellion. It had been simmering beneath the surface for months. Backstage insiders revealed that Solo Sikoa had been quietly recruiting the most dangerous Samoan talents, assembling a faction designed to eclipse Roman's reign. Jeff Cobb's arrival added a new level of monstrous power and heavyweight credibility, tipping the scales dramatically. This wasn't just a family feud, it was a strategic takeover. Roman's leadership, once unchallenged, now stands on shaky ground. Reports suggest Paul Heyman, the ever-calculating mastermind, had advanced knowledge of the coup, further deepening the rift between him and Roman. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman's faction reacts to the bloodline implosion. Across WWE, Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman's faction watched with glee as the bloodline imploded from within. This internal chaos creates a golden opportunity for Rollins and his allies to capitalize on the fractured Samoan dynasty. The numbers game that once favored Roman's bloodline has flipped. Solo's new faction, bolstered by Jimmy's defection, Jacob Fatu's brute force, and Jeff Cobb's unyielding dominance, presents a renewed and terrifying threat. The end of an era, the dawn of a new one. Jimmy Uso's shocking betrayal marks the definitive end of the historic Bloodline faction as fans knew it. Solo Sikoa's new Bloodline faction, with its fresh faces and ruthless intent, now stands as the island's new island of relevancy and dominance. WWE's power structure has been violently reshaped overnight, with Roman and Jey left to pick up the pieces. The road ahead. Questions loom large. Can Roman Reigns and Jey USO overcome this devastating betrayal and reclaim their legacy? Or will the new bloodline reign supreme, rewriting WWE's Samoan dynasty history? Rumors swirl about whether The Rock might intervene, adding an even bigger name to the mix. And here's the burning question. Is this new bloodline stronger, more dangerous, and more ruthless than the original? Call to action, sound off, and stay tuned. This is the beginning of WWE's most intense and personal civil war yet. Fans, it's time to choose sides. Sound off in the comments. Are you Team Roman and Jey, fighting to preserve the bloodline's legacy? Or are you backing Jimmy, Solo, Jacob, and Jeff, the new era of Samoan dominance? Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss a single moment of the fallout from WWE's most shocking betrayal ever. The Bloodline Civil War has officially begun.